But I want to say three things about it. It's big. It's $2.8 billion. That's unprecedented in West Virginia. It's bold, 48,000 jobs that will immediately start showing up as we push these projects out. And it provides for immediate economic recovery. We are building in a training component to every one of these projects so that a displaced miner or other folks who need a job can actually get a good paying job and get trained as they're working on these highway projects. This is coming soon. We're working like crazy at West Virginia DOT to get ready for this. So folks, without this, we have a big problem. Continued chronic underinvestment in our highways, continued chronic unemployment, continued chronic and stagnant economy, things going at a snail's pace. And so I would like to challenge you all that we have the courage to confront this price of doing nothing. There is a cost of doing nothing, and we have to take that into our hands and do something about it. So if I haven't convinced you about how important this plan is, our next speaker will. This man cares deeply about his state of West Virginia. Many of us at his point in life would have decided I'm going to take it easy and go quail hunting, as the governor likes to say.
I'm not that old.
So a lot of folks would like to retire and enjoy that life, and he's not that way. It's hard to keep up with this individual, and I can tell you that from my short time working on his team. So I can tell you I'm thrilled to be a part of his team and thrilled to welcome Governor Justice to tell you about his economic recovery program and the SOS Tour.
Tom, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to move around, so I don't know that I need all this, but let me tell you. I started down this path, and once you humbled me beyond belief and elected me, I tried to select superstars. Didn't matter to me if you're a Republican or Democrat or independent. I tried to select superstars to be in my cabinet, to be my colonel, and I've done that. And if you look at our Colonel Jan Cahill and Jeff Sandy and Secretary Tom Smith, you're going to see superstars. That, to be perfectly honest, they'll make me look better than I am. And that's their job. And if they don't, I'll get them. But they are really good. Now let me tell you, and I'm going to come around here. I'm going to come around here where I can sit on this stool and I can talk right with you, okay? Here's the deal. This is not rocket science. You know this. But you've got politicians, and what they want to do is they want to stay politicians. They want to stay in office, or they want to get the next office. You know this. This is not rocket science. I look at a bunch of you, and a bunch of you are my buddies and friends. I look at Harold and Jimmy, and on and on and on. You can figure this out. We're dead last. We've been dead last. I didn't create this mess. Remember, I just got to the party. This mess just didn't get created day before yesterday. It's been there, and been there, and been there. And all we've done is kick the can down the road, kick the can down the road. Now here's where we are. Like it or not like it, I walked into the party, and you would surely, to the Lord above, think that they had things worked out for the budget that I inherited. Not the budget to come, but the budget for right now. Between right now and July 1, we're $123 million upside down right now. Now, we have scoured the books until we're blue-green. Everybody thought we had to take that out of rainy day. I did too. But we've scoured and scoured and scoured and scoured, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, in all these accounts, hidden away and stashed here and there and everywhere, there's money. There's not tons of money, but there's enough money maybe to patch it together and to get us to July 1 without going to rainy day. Now, if we do that, what will that do? that will maybe stop the slide of the rating agencies raising our bonds, raising our interest rates. If they continue to raise our interest rates, everything you have, municipalities, bonding for our highways, on and on and on, costs us more and more and more money. So we have raided rainy day and taken it down to 2/3 or half of what it already is. We've lived off that, and we've lived off the low-hanging waste that we could cut out the easy stuff. Now, here's where we are. You're at a situation to where you got to do one of two things. You got to either cut into the bone and paralyze us forevermore, or you got to go my way. And you got to find a way that is as painless as it can possibly be, and you got to have real growth. Now think of this. I'm going to give you 2 words on the left side and 2 words on the right side. And that's the only 2 words that you have to remember. 2 on both sides. If you were a class and I was teaching a test and you couldn't get this, I'd run you out of the class. The 2 words on the left side is you've got to balance the budget without and here's the 2 words, don't cripple. Don't cripple. And what that means is just this. You have to find a way that the budget will be balanced and the patient's heart rate is already at 20. You can't take the heart rate to 5 because the patient will never, ever, ever get up out of the bed. You have to balance the budget and don't cripple, meaning that you can't eliminate all of our schools. Think about that. Eliminate all of our schools other than WVU and Marshall. You think that's going to bring more people to the state of West Virginia? Are you crazy? And if more people leave, what's going to happen? Then revenue is going to go down more, and you're going to turn around and look over your shoulder, and you still got the hole in the bucket. Are we going to eliminate our dog tracks? Are we going to not give our teachers a raise? Are we going to eliminate promised scholarship? Are we going to close all of our state parks? Are we going to quit stocking trout in our streams? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to do away with all of our education and arts? Well, I mean, here's the way to look at it. You could say, well, we're West Virginians, and we know our place, and we shouldn't have that stuff here in West Virginia. We're not good enough. Well, I don't buy that. I don't buy any part of that. You know, you could let me make it simple enough where it's really simple. Let's just don't have any state parks. And let's just say, well, you know, we're West Virginia, and we're really not as good as the other states, so we just don't deserve to have that. We're okay with that. Well, I'm not okay with that. So I've tried to find a way. I've got it down to where it's just this. And what I'm wanting to find a way, I'm wanting everybody to pull the rope. Everybody. I am all for let the mountains here to the top of the mountains. If there is waste anywhere, we're trying to address it and get rid of it. But here is the myth. There are people that believe, well, by dog, I don't want you to raise something that's going to cost me any more. Just get rid of the waste that's out there. Well, I'm telling you, if I had a magic wand, I'll bet you all the money that I've got in the world and then some, that I could take that magic wand and wave it, and if I had the ability to get rid of every dollar of waste, everything that was counterproductive, and I went whoosh like that, I'll bet you it wouldn't amount to $30 million. You got a $500 million hole in the bucket. $500 million. You can't hide behind that. You can't hide behind a little level of inefficiencies. I don't want any inefficiencies, but we can't hide behind that. Here's what I've come up with. I've said, I'm open. I'll listen. I'll listen to anything as far as something that is constructive, as far as cutting waste. But don't paralyze us. Don't cripple. And then I said, what we really are going to have to do is all pull the rope together. That's businesses. That's you. That's the very wealthy people. That's all of us. And here's what I did. I said, figured it up. I've got it down to where it's going to cost you a quarter of a penny more on your sales tax. A quarter of a penny more. And it's also going to cost our businesses, now get this, 0.75%. And then I said, how about us wealthy people that make in excess of $200,000 a year? I'd like you to pay $500. If you make $250,000, I'd like you to pay $750. And if you make more than $300,000, surely to the Lord above, you can pay $1,000 a year. You know why I did that? Because the average everyday guy would feel good about us that have been very fortunate in West Virginia to chip in a little more and help just a little more. You see, at the end of the day, I'm all for all of us running across the finish line, pulling the rope together. Not just the people. It'd be really easy to say, I'll tell you what let's do. Let's raise the sales tax 1%. And let's don't bother our businesses or don't bother the wealthy people. Let's don't do that. Then you pay it all. It's not fair. Everybody needs to be running across the finish line together. But if we do all of that and we cut some more waste that I'm open to if we can find it, you know what that's going to do? It's going to just stabilize us. It's just going to keep us where we're at. Remember, that's the left side. The right side that's over here is our growth. The two words you got to remember on the right side are immediate jobs. You can't sell potential, can you? What if I said, I know of a factory that we can make the greatest tomatoes in the history of the world, and we're going to sell them to the Northeast, and it's going to grow like crazy. Sounds good. Maybe a possibility. You can't sell potential today. I've got to have immediate jobs. Immediate jobs. That's where this man comes into play. If we can do the roads thing, and I've got it down to just this, and y'all listen to this, because this is unbelievable in my book. I got to find my little marker. I got it. Think about this. For 4.5 cents on gas. Now, I hate that. Because 4.5 cents is 4.5 cents. But this is what it takes for us to get there. 4.5 cents on gas. And then what we got to do is we got to change our DMV fees from $30 to $50. Now, the other thing, and here's the super trump of the whole thing. You're going to change your rate on your tolls from $2 to $4. Now, think about this. I'm going to tell all of you, we're going to initiate a brand new program today that on all the tolls on West Virginians, if you choose to do it, you'll get an easy pass. And if you can't read this, I understand. You'll get an easy pass that you'll go for free. All West Virginians, and even those that are out of state, if they want to pay the $8, they can get a pass too to drive on our roads for free. So just stay with me, okay? We're going to call this Mountaineers Will Always Be Free. Now, for this right here, and this turnpike, this toll deal, this right here is the big, big, big thing in the bucket. This right here is what really turns the wheel. Do you know what this here will do? This will give us the ability, now get this, to bond something really close to $3.3 billion. Now here's what we can do with that. Tom has on the books today, he has on the books $2.4 billion in road work. That's taking Route 2 to 5 lanes. It's taking Route 14 to 4 lanes. It's absolutely creating so many jobs, it's unbelievable. And this will create 48,000 new jobs. Tomorrow, instant. Tomorrow, instant jobs, good jobs. And in this component, there's 2 other things that are unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're going to bid to jobs labor intensive, meaning that we're going to have more workers than if we bid to jobs another way. And what those workers are going to be, because you can do this, you can do that. And what those workers are going to be is retraining them to do something. Maybe retraining our miners. The other thing is it may be an apprenticeship to where it teaches you how to pour concrete or lay rebar or run a grader or whatever it may be. It's a training ground for our people. And the other thing is with this, there's going to be a 5% basically successful bid fee. Okay. All up and down the wrong way. Think about this. You know how much money that is? That's $120 million. And you know what we're going to do with that? We're going to run this right over here and put it in a bucket, and we're going to absolutely curb and fix this drug epidemic. We're going to stop it. It's cannibalizing us. And it needs to be a big bucket because you're not going to fix it with $18. You've got to have real money to fix this drug epidemic. Now, here's what it'll be. It'll all happen from Tom's Roads. It'll create 48,000 jobs. It'll retrain our people and be an apprenticeship. It will take this state off like nobody's business. And for what? For what? 4.5 cents. $20 right here. And all of our West Virginians go for free if you want to pay $8. And off we go. Now, let me end by saying this. If you don't think that's a plan, you've lost your mind. I've given you a pathway to really go somewhere. This is the greatest state in the union. And we've been beat down, and we've been the blunt end of a lot of bad jokes, and I don't like it. If you think absolutely that there's all kinds of just easy waste out there, and I saw 3 guys come to change the light bulb, and only one of them was working, and if you think that, and you think you can get $500 million out of that, you're nuts. You're just plain wrong. I am giving you the only pathway we can get there. It's a way for our schools, education. It's a way for us to get there, and we got to move, and we got to move now. While interest rates are low, while the opportunity's right at our fingertips, we got to move now. Now, let me just challenge you with just this. A lot of you, I ran as a Democrat. A lot of you heard the absolute leader of the free world the other night speak as a Republican, didn't he? And you know what he said? And I want you to just think about it. and just tap your head and listen to what he's saying and wonder, I think the man's stealing my stuff. He is. He's stealing my stuff. First thing he said is, we got to think big. Well, for crying out loud, I've been saying it till I'm blue-green. And I'm going to forget a bunch of the things he said. He said, we got to curb this drug epidemic. We got to stop drugs coming into this country, and I'm telling you, we've got to have a whole program in West Virginia to stop it. Treatment facilities and ways for people to get back in the workforce and ways to help our law enforcement to have enough people to be able to do the job and give them laws that the people that come and bring these nasty things into our society and everything, we put them away forevermore. I was wondering when you were going to clap. I thought, my gosh, are they asleep? What am I doing here? But think about the other things that Donald said. He said, we don't need to cut Social Security. We don't need to hurt our seniors. We don't need to hurt our vets. Is it not just an echo of what I'm trying to tell you? I'm telling you, we cannot walk away from our vets. We can't hurt our seniors and our kids. Have we lost our blooming mind when we cut more into the bone? They can't stand that. Now, he also said this. He said, we need to unite. He said, Democrats, we need to unite together. We don't need to divide. I've been saying it till I'm blue-green. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent. I don't care. We're West Virginians. There's so many on the outside that are throwing rocks at us. Why do we need to throw rocks at one another? He also said, did he not? We need to go on an infrastructure program and spend $1 trillion in this country. Well, what did I just do? What have I been saying? We're saying the exact same thing. And you know what is the most bizarre thing of all? You've got this bunch of crazy Republicans that are sitting down there, and the leader of the free world, the guru of the Republicans, and they're trying to go right towards the way Obama and Nancy Pelosi went. I want you to call them up on the phone, and the first thing I want you to do is say, is this Nancy Pelosi? There's an old saying, first you believe in Santa Claus, then you don't. Before you know it, you are Santa Claus. Well, it's like they have transformed into this other type of being or Donald Trump has transformed into another type of being. But he's saying we can't cut our seniors, we can't cut our vets, we can't hurt us. We've got to grow our way out of this mess. And all that we hear from the Republicans are, we've got to come up with more cuts. The next thing you hear is this, and you hear that we have gotten smaller in West Virginia, and so therefore we need to have less services. You honestly believe if we have less services, more people are going to come? It's asinine. It is absolutely plain asinine. This is not anything but common sense. Now, I'll work with them in every way. I want you to know that. I'll be as open-minded as a human being can possibly be. I'll absolutely try to cut anything and everything that is legitimate to cut. But I don't want to cut away our life and our lifestyle and who we are. And I don't want to hurt people more for just the sake of hurting people more. Now, it said we can cut out the courtesy patrol on the highways. It'll save $5 million. Now, I know $5 million here and $5 million there, and all that adds up to big numbers. But do you realize that, do you have any idea what the payroll taxes on that right there are? Just the payroll taxes. Not the sales taxes, what it generates, not the multiplier effect, just the payroll taxes on this right here. If we do this tomorrow, the payroll taxes on that are $250 million. $250 million. We're wanting to cut out the courtesy patrol because it's going to save $5 million. It is absolute silliness. Let me tell you this real quick. I'm coming down I-64. I'm right outside of White Sulphur. I mean, a mile. Big green sign there, White Sulphur, 1 mile. Middle of the day, right in front of me, there's a blue minivan. Right over the guardrail, in the middle of the day, jumps this giant bear, and that minivan, wham, hits the bear. Bear spins around, graveyard dead, and all of a sudden, this young lady, she pulls over. I pull in right behind her. I jump out of the car. She's got 2 kids, 2 young boys in car seats in the back of the car. They're fine. She jumps out of the car hysterical, screaming out of her mind. She was crazy, wild, and everything. And she's screaming at the top of her lungs. She's saying, my husband said, don't come through here. Don't come into West Virginia. This place is crazy. Was that a bear? And she's in the road, and I'm trying to grab her because she's going to get run over. And then finally, after I got her calmed down, I said, ma'am, where are you from? And she said, Detroit. And I thought, and your husband said for you not to come through West Virginia because things are crazy in West Virginia? Now, just maybe she would have really needed a courtesy control or patrol. And just maybe the fact that I have proposed dollars for economic development, incentive to bring business in here, to promote tourism. Why do you need, and I've said it a bunch of times, why in the world do you need to turn your TV on all the time and see, come to Michigan? All the time, pure Michigan, pure Michigan, pure Michigan. I would honestly say, if I said, let's get a bus and go to Detroit, are you out of your mind? Who wants to go to Michigan? I mean, look outside. Look at what we have. But we don't sell ourselves in any way. I'm telling you, I'll fight with every fiber in me. But here's the bottom line. This is the end. You've got to call your legislators. You've got to get them to move. Because I'm not a king. I can't do this without them. And if you believe in what I'm telling you, if you don't, you're crazy. But if you believe in what I'm telling you, then you've got to let your voice be heard. Because if your voice is not heard, here's what's going to happen. And I don't want to ever end on a bad note, but this is exactly what's going to happen. We're 50th now. If they don't move, and I can't get them to move, and I'll try everything in me to get them to move, but at the end of the day, it falls back on that they cut us more and don't move, and we constrict one bit more. Do you realize what happens when you have a nuclear meltdown, and they said the China syndrome, and you can't stop it because it's burning through the entire earth? Well, if we constrict more and more people leave and less revenue comes in, you're going to be in a spiral that you will not be able to get out of. And I would tell you, if that happens, go be with your families, because it's over. It's flat over. Now, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get Lily, and I'm going to go grouse hunting. I will give it everything in my power, but I'm going to tell you, I don't want to get lonely giving it everything in my power. You've got to let your voice be heard. I mean it when I tell you I love you, and I love our state beyond good sense. And there may be somebody here that loves our state as much as me, but there's nobody here that loves it more. I don't want a thing. I've said it over and over. I don't want a thing. I mean, for crying out loud, what could I want? Access or money? Are you silly? I don't want one thing. You may say, well, he likes ego or status. Listen, if you own the Greenbrier Hotel, you're Elvis reincarnated. I mean, and if you're 8 foot tall and weigh 700 pounds, everybody knows you. I don't want a thing except goodness for you and goodness for my family. And the bottom line of the whole thing is Aunt Edith, if I can use her as a name, she wants to have a picnic this coming Sunday. And she can't do it because she wants her grandkids to be there. And her grandkids are in Charlotte and Denver and Atlanta and everywhere they had to go to get a job. Well, you know what that means? That means the family of a great West Virginians are fragmented. They're everywhere. They're fragmented. It's not fair. We're too blooming good. Listen, I mean it. I love you, and God bless you. Thank you for having me.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.